Lanterns coming up, very toned down. One of the
Let's
like you
go.
were saying, I didn't make a video about the boys, is what you're saying, because I didn't have anything new to say. For me, the reason I made a video about Lanterns is because everybody was like, wait, it's toned down. I'm like, they told you it was gonna be toned down from the get-go. And everybody's like shocked by this. Were you shocked by that?
No, of course not. Because like instantly when it was announced too, they talked about True Detective. And I love True Detective. Like the last season of it too, where it was set in Alaska and had Jodie Foster. Like I really liked that season as well. I didn't really like season 2 as much, but I love True Detective. And I'm not even a procedural guy. Like I don't really like Law and Order. I'm sure I would if I watched it, but like I don't seek those kind of shows out. But I seek out True Detective. Like True Detective is amazing. And I love I don't know what else people were looking for from it. I know that there was a lot of complaints. I think we're going to get to the suit of it all, but just from like the vibe of the show, like this is what I want. A Hal Jordan, or I was worried, Kyle Chandler's a little bit older. Is he going to be as physical? Is he going to be able to like really embody Hal Jordan in that way? And like what I got from him in the trailer was perfect. He looked like he was confident. He was a badass. He took risks. He was just like, all right, new kid, chill out, but like, you could tell that there's still a good person in there, which I think it also speaks to like who and how Kyle Chandler acts. He always kind of like a good guy. But then you have Aaron Pierre. And then Aaron Pierre, I think, is slowly like stealing the hearts of so many people out there as well. He's like, to me, like a truly sweet version of what Jonathan Majors could have been.
I like that. Yes.
But I love Aaron Pierre. Like every interview I see, I like him. He's super talented. Rebel Ridge wouldn't be one of those movies that I would have gone out to watch, but I had so many people saying, you got to watch this. And he's incredible in it. I see him as John Stewart. Like, God, that dynamic alone for me makes it worth it. I'm there.
And to me, when I look at these two together, I also pull back at the entire Justice League or the wider DCU and see how well they work with everybody, because an older Hal Jordan gives the gravitas of this 300 years of superheroes that we're probably missing from a younger Superman, and what we'll probably be missing from like a young to middle-aged Batman that we're going to be getting. So you kind of want that old dog on the Justice League. That's our Hal Jordan. And then you also have that younger team, the fighters that are, to see Aaron Pierre and Corn Sweat together, Superman, Green Lantern, that's going to be a blast to watch on screen. I think we have a really good age dynamic. Oh God, Frank. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's such an interesting point. I didn't think about Hal Jordan being kind of the old veteran of the Justice League. And man, that works so well. Again, just because of like who Kyle Chandler is and like the actor he is and how he portrays his characters. It's like, I think that's a perfect fit, because he's like, he's a little bit older. He's a little bit weathered, at least how they're making him look in the trailer. But like, again, he's kind of endearing to me. Like, I'm never like, man, that's such a grumpy old a-hole. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, he's kind of grumpy in the trailer, but not in like my grandpa way, where it's like, grandpa, you're a dick. Like, stop. But like, I don't get that from Kyle Chandler. So man, I love that idea.
He's just an old soldier. I see him as like an older soldier who's been to wars. His suit, to me, okay, let's talk about the suit. I think it looks like it's been used, when other suits probably look a lot fresher. What we saw from Guy Gardner, which, by the way, he said all other Green Lanterns are not humans. I'm like, guys out there.
Okay, so that's a whole other point I want to get into too, because I was wait a second, but yes, okay, the suit.
And then we have the question of why is he not projecting a suit on himself? Well, I don't think Guy's suit was projected on himself, so that might be something that's just not a part of DCU, or maybe it's something that will be eventually brought in with John Stewart and like showing his level of, first off, like he's got engineering skills and stuff, but also just like his level of skills with the Green Lantern ring.
Yeah. So many things there that you brought up that are great points.
Sorry.
One, like Guy Gardner, for sure, he didn't project his own suit, but he was also given a suit by the Justice Gang, right? Or by, what is Sean Gunn's, Maxwell Lord. Maxwell Lord gave them the suits, right? For the Justice Gang. That makes sense. Like, I guess he could project the suit, but like there was a company attire, basically. They're a company-sponsored superhero team, so they got to wear that. So there's that element to it too.
That's a great point.
And who's to say, like, I know that the energy So I've also know like in the comics like they've made constructs that have become permanent, right? So like the suit could have been a construct that then just stayed in physical form and that then worn out. You know, like that has happened in the comics as well, a long time ago. So it's like there's that option, but yeah, to me there still is green in it, but yes, it just looks weathered. And it looks pretty
Yeah,
close to the year one comic a suit in there, so to me that wasn't
yeah.
bad. It's also like there was also multiple suits in the closet. Like if you look at that video, like when you look at that part of the trailer and you really zoom in, there's multiple suits on those tags or hanging on the rack. So we don't
Mhm.
know what those other suits look like. So for people to be like, that one suit, that's the only suit, that sucks, is like you missed a bunch of details there.
The
So
fact that there are multiple suits, to me, is very cool because it's kind of like that one that he's going to in that moment might be the trustworthy suit. Like it's like, all right, no more showboating like guy's suit. This is the old girl that got me through many fights in the past that I've defended
to-
Earth with before in the past. I love it.
totally. Yeah. Another good point that somebody brought up online was that, maybe the whole point of it, much like a true detective, excuse me, something in my throat, much like True
Mhm.
Detective, is that they're trying to be incognito. Like they're not trying to come in
Oh yeah.
like, oh, hey, we're Green Lanterns, respect us. We're gonna take over your investigation. It's like maybe like we want to keep this under wrap because the enemy can kind of disguise himself as anybody, which then kind of brings into the point. You see the guy in the trailer. He's a classic old actor. He's kind of like balding up top. He
Hmm.
usually plays like a gangster guy. He goes by Anton in the trailer. But a lot of people, his backstory that they gave on DC, like online, is very close to a character that you're familiar with if you're into Green Lantern in DC Comics, which is Atrocitus. So maybe he
Oh
is
my god.
Atrocitus who's playing as, a regular human, a regular Joe Blow who's a gangster, whatever. So like there
Yeah.
could be this whole side of it where they're trying to not be as public. Maybe this is a time where, Superman was just busted and they're like, super people, even though they've been out in public for a long time, maybe they don't want to come in that way to disrupt this investigation.
Yeah, and like you had mentioned earlier, Earth One is the comic run that I think they're pulling this Hal Jordan from the mannerisms
Yeah.
that he's using, the vibe. I'm hoping for some sort of tie to the wider DCU. So personally, I'm hoping it's a white Martian they find because that's often a kind of a thing. Is that a white Martian
Heard.
gets to Earth before you find John's,
Yeah.
the
Wow, that'd be
Manhunter. So
awesome.
I hope that there's something like that, but I do like where you're coming from. Um, gosh, I'm pretty hyped about this, and I think that the grounded level is exactly what they have to do to prove you could use DC projects in a effective and inexpensive way, like we just got with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Like, yeah, we have Game of
Right.
Thrones, that's expensive, but if you guys want something that comes out every year, it's a small
Mhm.
jousting tournament. Same thing with this.
Yeah, yeah. And then we gotta just develop the character. Like, also, this is a freaking teaser trailer that people are flipping out on. It's like, this
Yeah,
isn't even like the whole thing. You can't judge this whole show off of that one teaser trailer. But like, the most important thing for me as like a fan of Green Lantern was that they establish the characters correctly and they do this relationship in a way where I'm interested to see how they work together. Because again, it's the
yeah.
grizzled old dog versus like the new young buck, and how are they going to work? And I love just kind of the character dynamics they're already showing. I think once we finally see the powers, they're going to be much like they were in Superman. I'm pumped about that because I think the other thing they're going to do is show how they use the rings differently, not just from each
Yes,
other,
please.
but
Yeah,
different from Guy Gardner as well. Like he's going to
right.
show up as well. So then I think that brings us back to what you said earlier when that line did throw me off from Hal when he was saying like, "Oh, like I'm the only human Green Lantern." It's like, "No, you're not." And shouldn't you know that because Guy Gardner's flying around on TV? Or
Right.
is this a different timing? I don't know. I thought that was a weird line too.
I think what's going to come up is the classic animated thing in the wider animated franchise, whatever, where John Stewart and Hal Jordan basically disown Guy Gardner because he's such a pain in the ass. And so there's that classic bit where like the Justice League's like, couldn't we just bring it? We have a third Green Lantern. Like, no, we don't. And they were like,
Yeah,
do not pull him in. And so I'm hoping it's
yeah.
that like we don't deal with Guy if we don't have to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I could see that happening, which would be hilarious too. That'd be like Well, you know, a joke that kind of works with the Guy Gardner we've already seen. So I'm on board with that. The other thing that they've said that I want to point out, because I haven't seen anybody talk about this, is there's a moment where John Stewart's getting held down and there's this like yellow kind of almost staple gun kind of hold to his neck.
Yes, sir.
And to me, it looks like yellow ring or like yellow lantern technology that they're using to like pull out his will or inject fear or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't see anybody say that. And it's like, they've already confirmed that one of the bad guys is going to be a yellow lantern. So, you know, how does that play into all of this?
Yeah. And will they kind of revert back to the old school Green Lantern thing where just like yellow hurts? Or is it going to be more explained into like the fear of it and stuff? So yeah, we have more questions than answers as per usual, but just seeing the vibe got me very excited for a classic HBO detective story that happens to have a bunch of green rings in it. And I'm on board. It's going to be fun.
Me too. I think it looks phenomenal. I'm stoked.